In 1974, Elvis lost a ring his mother had given him during a concert. 30 years later, a janitor found it wedged under a stage floorboard. When she researched its story and sent it to Lisa Marie, she discovered a hidden engraving. "You are my everything, Mama." This is the story of the ring that traveled through time to deliver a mother's message. It was March 21, 1974, at the Chicago Stadium. Elvis was in the middle of an energetic performance, moving across the stage during an up-tempo number. He was gesturing dramatically when he felt it, the slight loosening on his right hand, then the ring slipping off his finger. Elvis stopped mid-song, looking down desperately. But the ring was gone, lost somewhere on the massive stage among the lights, the movement, the chaos. The ring wasn't valuable in monetary terms. It was a simple gold band, worn thin from years of constant wearing. But it was priceless to Elvis. His mother Gladys had given it to him on his 18th birthday, 6 months before he made his first recording. "So you remember where you came from," she'd told him, slipping it onto his finger. "No matter how far you go or how famous you get, this ring means you're still my boy." Elvis had worn it every single day for 19 years. He'd worn it through his entire rise to fame. He'd worn it in the army during movie shoots at his wedding. The ring had been a constant, a physical connection to his mother, who died in 1958. And now it was gone. After the show, Elvis had his entire crew search the stage. They looked for hours. But the Chicago Stadium stage was old, with gaps between the floorboards, spaces where something small could easily disappear. They never found it. Elvis was devastated. "That was the last piece of her I had that she actually touched," he told Joe Esposito. "Everything else is just memories. But that ring," she put it on my finger. "Her hands touched that gold. And now it's gone." For weeks after, Elvis would unconsciously reach to touch the ring, forgetting it wasn't there. Each time he remembered, the loss hit him fresh. "It felt like losing her all over again," Charlie Hodge remembered Elvis saying, like the last physical connection to her was just gone. Elvis never stopped looking for that ring. For the remaining 3 years of his life, whenever he performed in Chicago, he'd ask if anyone had found a simple gold band. They never had. 30 years passed. Elvis died in 1977. The Chicago Stadium was demolished in 1995. But before the demolition, there was a final cleanup crew hired to strip the building of anything salvageable. Maria Gonzalez was part of that crew. She was a 52-year-old janitor who'd worked in Chicago venues for 30 years, cleaning up after concerts, conventions, events. It was hard work that paid modestly, but Maria took pride in doing it well. On the last day before demolition, Maria was assigned to the old stage area. She was pulling up sections of the wooden stage floor when she noticed something glinting in the gap between two boards. Using a screwdriver, she carefully pried the boards apart and reached into the space beneath. Her fingers closed around something small and metal. She pulled it out and found herself holding a ring. A simple gold band, worn thin, clearly very old. Maria cleaned it off and noticed something she almost missed, tiny engraving on the inside of the band. She had to hold it up to the light and squint to read it. "You are my everything, Mama." Maria felt her heart clench. This wasn't just any lost ring. This was someone's treasure, someone's connection to their mother. She took the ring home and showed it to her daughter Rosa, who was good with computers and internet research. "Mama, we should try to find who this belongs to," Rosa said. "That inscription, it meant something to someone." They started researching. Chicago Stadium had hosted thousands of events over its 65-year history. But the ring looked like it had been there for decades, and something about it felt connected to the building's heyday, the 60s and 70s. Rosa searched for Lost Ring Chicago Stadium and Mother's Ring inscription. Nothing. Then she tried Chicago Stadium Famous Concerts, 1970s. That's when she found it. An obscure Elvis fan website that mentioned, in passing, that Elvis had lost his mother's ring during a 1974 Chicago Stadium concert and had been devastated by the loss. "Mama," Rosa said slowly, pulling up more articles, "I think this ring belonged to Elvis Presley." Maria stared at the ring in her hand with new understanding. Elvis Presley. She'd seen him perform once, decades ago. She'd cleaned up after his concerts, and now she was holding something that had meant everything to him. "We have to return it," Maria said immediately, But Mama, it's probably worth a fortune. We could sell it. No, Maria said firmly. This belonged to his mother, then to him. Now it needs to go to his daughter. Money can't buy what this ring means. Only family should have it. Rosa researched how to contact Graceland and Lisa Marie Presley. After several attempts and dead ends, they finally reached someone at the Elvis Presley estate who took their story seriously. You have a ring you believe belonged to Elvis? The representative asked skeptically. Do you have any proof? Maria described the inscription, the worn appearance, the simple gold band. And I found it under the stage at Chicago Stadium, where your records show he lost a ring in 1974. There was a long pause. Can you send us photographs? 3 weeks later, after authentication by experts who compared the ring to photographs from before 1974, Maria received a call. The ring was genuine. It was Elvis's mother's ring, lost for 30 years. Lisa Marie Presley wanted to meet Maria personally to receive the ring. They arranged to meet at Graceland. Maria had never been to Memphis before, had never imagined she'd visit Elvis Presley's home. But on a warm spring afternoon in 2004, she found herself sitting in Graceland's living room, the ring in a small velvet box waiting for Elvis's daughter. Lisa Marie entered the room, and Maria was struck by how much she looked like her father. Same eyes, same smile, same presence. Ms. Gonzalez, Lisa Marie said, sitting down across from her. Thank you for finding this. Thank you for reaching out. You could have sold this ring for a substantial amount of money. Why didn't you? Maria thought carefully about her answer. Because it didn't belong to me. It belonged to your grandmother, then your father, and now it belongs to you. Some things aren't about money. They're about love. And this ring is made of love. Lisa Marie's eyes filled with tears. May I see it? Maria opened the velvet box and handed it to Lisa Marie. Lisa Marie held the ring carefully, turning it in the light. She read the inscription aloud, her voice breaking. You are my everything, Mama. My father talked about this ring, Lisa Marie said softly. He wore it every day. When he lost it, he said it felt like losing his mother all over again. He never stopped looking for it. He died still looking for it. She slipped the ring onto her own finger. It was too large, meant for a man's hand, but she wore it anyway. This is the only thing I have that my grandmother actually touched, Lisa Marie continued. The only physical object that connects all three of us. Her hands, his hands, my hands. 30 years it was lost. 30 years it waited under that stage. And you found it. You brought it home. Maria wiped her own tears. I just cleaned a building. You're the one who gave it meaning. No, Lisa Marie said firmly. You gave it meaning by understanding it wasn't yours to keep, by recognizing that some things are more important than their monetary value, by making sure it came back to family. Lisa Marie paused, then made a decision. Ms. Gonzalez, my father believed in taking care of people who took care of him. You took care of his most precious possession. Please, let me help you. Your daughter mentioned you're still working as a janitor. I'm proud of my work, Maria said quickly, as you should be, but let me help you retire comfortably. Let me make sure you don't have to work until you can't anymore. It's what my father would have wanted. It's what I want. Maria started to protest, but Lisa Marie held up her hand. This isn't charity. This is gratitude. You gave me back a piece of my father, a piece of my grandmother, a piece of my family history. That's priceless. Please, let me say thank you properly. Lisa Marie established a trust fund for Maria Gonzalez that allowed her to retire with dignity. But more importantly, she invited Maria to become part of the extended Graceland family, someone who'd played a crucial role in preserving Elvis's legacy. At a private ceremony at Graceland, Lisa Marie spoke about the ring and its journey. This ring spent 30 years. Under a stage in Chicago, 30 years in darkness, lost, forgotten. But it wasn't gone. It was just waiting for the right person to find it, waiting for someone who would understand what it meant and make sure it came home. She looked at Maria. My father used to say that his mother's love was the only real thing in a world of fake relationships and manufactured emotions. This ring represented that love. And Ms. Gonzalez understood that. She didn't see a valuable artifact. She saw a mother's gift to her son, and she made sure it came back to family. Lisa Marie announced that she was donating the ring to be displayed at Graceland, but with a special plaque telling the story of its 30-year journey and Maria's role in returning it. The ring is now displayed in a case near Gladys's grave in the Meditation Garden. The placard reads, "Ring given by Gladys Presley to Elvis on his 18th birthday, 1953, lost during performance, Chicago Stadium, 1974, found by Maria Gonzalez, 2004, inscription, 'You are my everything, Mama.'" This ring represents the unbreakable bond between mother and son. Lost for 30 years but never forgotten, it reminds us that some connections transcend time and space. What matters most always finds its way home. Maria Gonzalez passed away peacefully in 2019 at age 67. At her funeral, Lisa Marie sent flowers and a personal note. "Thank you for understanding that love is more valuable than gold. Thank you for bringing my father's ring home. You gave our family a gift we can never repay." The story of the lost ring resonated deeply with people around the world. It became a touchstone for discussions about integrity, family connections, and the power of doing the right thing, even when nobody would know if you didn't. Maria Gonzalez could have sold that ring for hundreds of thousands of dollars, noted ethics professor Dr. James Chen. Instead, she researched its history and returned it to Elvis's daughter for no compensation. That's integrity. That's understanding that some things don't belong to whoever finds them. They belong to whoever they mean something to. The story also reminded people of the enduring power of a parent's love. Gladys Presley gave her son a simple ring with a simple message. 67 years later, that message is still being read by visitors to Graceland. "You are my everything." 4 words that defined Elvis's entire life. 4 words that he carried on his finger for 19 years. 4 words that were lost for 30 years. 4 words that came home because one woman understood they were more than just an inscription. They were a testament to love. Elvis fans who visit Graceland often spend the longest time at the ring display. Many are seen crying, reading the inscription, thinking about their own parents, their own children, their own irreplaceable connections. "Seeing Elvis's mother's ring with that inscription made me call my mom," one visitor wrote in the Graceland guestbook. "Made me realize that whatever we give our children, whether it's a ring or just our love, that's what they'll carry forever. That's what defines them." The ring also sparked conversations about the items we inherit and what they mean. "We're not just inheriting objects," said family therapist Dr. Sarah Mitchell. "We're inheriting the love and intention behind those objects." Elvis's ring wasn't valuable because it was gold. It was valuable because of what his mother meant when she gave it to him. "You are my everything." That's what we should be passing down, that certainty of being loved. Rosa Gonzalez, Maria's daughter, became an advocate for returning found historical items to their rightful owners. "My mother taught me that finding something precious isn't about keeping it," Rosa said in interviews. "It's about understanding its story and making sure it continues." She worked with museums and historical societies to establish protocols for handling found items with personal significance, always asking, what would Maria do? Today, when people visit Elvis's grave in the Meditation Garden, they often stop at the ring display first. They read about Gladys giving it to her 18-year-old son. They read about Elvis wearing it for 19 years, never taking it off. They read about him losing it during a performance and searching for it until his death. They read about Maria finding it 30 years later and giving it back. They understand something profound, that love doesn't disappear just because something is lost. It waits, it endures, and sometimes when the time is right, it comes home. Elvis lost his mother's ring in 1974. For 3 years until his death, he mourned that loss. For 27 years after his death, the ring sat beneath a stage in darkness, waiting. Then Maria Gonzalez found it, and instead of seeing gold, she saw love. Instead of seeing value, she saw meaning. Instead of keeping a treasure, she returned a legacy. "You are my everything, Mama." Gladys Presley engraved those words in gold in 1953. Her son wore them until 1974. They were lost until 2004. They're at Graceland now, where visitors can see them and remember, what matters most is never truly lost. It's just waiting to be found. And when someone with integrity finds it, love always comes home. The ring waited 30 years. Love waited 30 years. And because Maria Gonzalez understood that some things are more valuable than money, Lisa Marie Presley got to wear the ring that her grandmother gave her father, feeling the connection of 3 generations in one small circle of gold. Lost things come back, not always when we expect, not always how we imagine, but they come back if someone recognizes what they truly are. Maria recognized that Elvis's ring wasn't just gold, it was love made solid. It was a mother's devotion engraved in metal. It was a connection that transcended death and time. And she gave it back. Because that's what you do with love. You don't keep it. You pass it on. If this story of lost treasures, integrity, and love that transcends time moved you, subscribe and share it. What's the most meaningful object someone gave you? Let us know in the comments. Hit that notification bell for more true stories about the things that connect us across generations.